Who remembers Bastard out of Carolina? Let's talk about it. Hey, it's Nathan Others. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a 10 subscriber, hey, uplifters. So let's talk about the 1996 movie Bastard out of Carolina. It's a movie that I will forever remember. It was a movie that I watched and didn't feel so alone. So for those that have not watched Bastard Out of Carolina, you really can't find the movie anywhere, I don't think. I've looked for it on different streaming apps and it's not there. I really wish that they would put it on something because I feel like it's really important to actually watch this movie. I mean, I understand that it can be triggering, it can be a lot, but it is so needed because it shows the family dynamics and it shows what can happen in families. Okay, so Best Out of Carolina is about Annie, a poor single mother from the rural South struggles to raise her young daughter Bone. They seem to find happiness when Annie marries a kind man named Lau, who treats Bone like his own child. However, after Lau is killed in an automobile accident, Annie remarries to the hot-headed Glenn, who abuses Bone physically and SA. And she begins to tear the once tight-knit family apart. So for those that have not watched it and want to watch it, it's an old movie from 1996. It is a very, I feel like, in a sense, educational. Shows how family dynamics can be and what can happen when abuse takes place. Annie being a young mother and being single and dealing with the loss of her first husband that took care of her, she was looking for love. And how people say, you know, you got to be careful who you allow around your kids. That is a true statement that a lot of people don't want to listen to. That's the reality of it. Some people don't want others to be in their business and tell them how to raise their kids and what to do, and that is okay. But being mindful of who is around your kids is so important. In this case, Bone's stepdad, Glenn, should have treated her like his own child, but instead he took his frustrations, his anger, everything that he was dealing with, took it out on her, not only physically, but sexually. And a lot of cases, people can know what's going on or they can be oblivious to it. It's either one or the other. And what I mean by that is you can observe things and you can see the red flags, right? Or you can see the flags leading up to the red flag. The thing that really makes you like, what the heck is going on? And you can still not do anything about it. You can still just be in denial about it. Or you could be someone that really doesn't know and you're just blinded by certain things that a person does, or you're just blind. Some people are not aware of the dangers that just lurks. And we think that we have to just protect our kids or kids in general from strangers, but realistically, we have to protect them from everyone around us. No, we don't want to have the mindset of like no one can be trusted, but at the same time, like no one can be trusted, if that makes sense. Like you can have a good relationship with somebody, they can be the best stepfather, they can be the best big brother, big sister, older cousin, or just like a cousin, and they can be the predators. Anybody can be a predator, and that's the reality of it. And being oblivious to things and not wanting to see what really is going on in your household is beyond me. I understand life happens if you work, if you're not around your kids so much because you do work and you don't know everything, or you let your family members babysit your kids. But knowing and having an open relationship with your children is a must. It's like you want your kids to be safe, to say things to you, to like tell you things. In this case, like, I don't want to give the movie away. In certain instances, Bone was seen like limping, can barely walk, can barely like move, function, not being her normal self. And Annie, the mother, was blind by that. She just like, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe she fell, maybe she hurt herself, making up all these excuses of what happened. But before Glenn came in the picture, was Bone hurting herself? Was Bone clumsy? Was Bone acting the same way that she's acting now, or she's acting differently? It's like, you have to be observant when it comes down to kids. Like, you know their routine, you know what they do, you know what they don't do. And Annie was just blinded by the love that she wanted, that she yearned for, the love that she yearned for. She seen nothing but just being with Glenn. Even though he was abusive, she just wanted to be with him. And in this case, I feel like she chose a man before her child, and that is never, in my opinion, that's never okay to do. If you know your kid is being abused, it doesn't matter if it's just physical abuse. That's enough of a reason to leave that person. Let's be real. It helps us see family dynamics from a whole different level of just not being always happy, like going through different trials and different tribulations, all that stuff. Like, it's, you seeing things differently. And I think a part of the movie, Bone had ended up going to stay with her great aunt, I think it was, or her aunt. And it's crazy how a lot of times when a child is abused in the family, they will send that child off to another household in certain cases. And what does that do with a child? That makes the child feel like it's their fault why this is happening. It's their fault that they were abused. And it's crazy how that happened. Like, Bone had to go off to be at another house away from her little sister and her mom, and she was confused and she was hurt about it. And like, I want people to open their eyes. Like, how would you react if your spouse was abusing your child? And how would you like handle that? I understand that if you've never been through that situation, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to even you don't want to think about the possibilities, right? You don't want to even think that somebody that you love would hurt your child in that way. People can be so charming, but can be so dark and evil. As Bone got older and realized like it was not okay for her mom to send her off somewhere else, and she felt, of course, hurt, and she felt anger, because that's natural and that's normal and that's okay to feel, because someone that's supposed to protect you allows somebody to come in your life and hurt you, and then you have to go off to be with other people. And I mean, I know we don't talk about our family dark secrets. A lot of times people don't even know the secrets that are held in families. But can you only imagine that a child had to endure that and then go off to live with somebody else? Like, how many families have dealt with this or are still dealing with this? I know that me being a survivor of trauma in my family, it changes the way you look at family. And it changes the way you look at life in general. Bastard out of Carolina will just open your eyes to different things that can happen in the family. I just want to leave with this. Just be careful of who is around your kids. If you don't have kids and you have nieces and nephews or little cousins, just be mindful. And you don't want to be oblivious to things, and you don't want to be in denial, because anybody can be a predator, like I said. So you just want to just be mindful and be aware. And I know how uncomfortable it is, but ask questions, because it's very important. A child's life can depend on being aware and caring enough to stop it if it's happening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.